Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, music lovers and audiophiles. I recently got to tag along on a very special tour of Italian audio arranged by Steve Jan of Fidelity Imports. We visited 5 audio manufacturers that I've labeled hidden gems based on hindsight, because after seeing their people and their manufacturing and their technology up close, I think you'll want to know more about them. And I assume, like me, that many of you will be unfamiliar with these companies. In this vignette, we have 2 related companies, Audia Flight, which manufactures source components and amplifiers, and Alare, which makes high-end speakers. I hope you enjoy this. Audia Flight and Alare products are manufactured in Civitavecchia, about an hour north of Rome, on the Italian coast. In our coverage of Italian audio in previous episodes, I've emphasized the blending of art and science because that impressed and surprised me. Each brand we visited had a different approach to blending these 2 ideas, and at Audia Flight and Alare, I saw the blend being done in a familiar and, I think, desirable way. I might call this approach modern high-end with a touch of crazy. I honestly think that there's a lot of audiophiles with substantial budgets who want that. Let me explain with some examples. Audia Flight's electronics feature a clean design that made me think an Italian industrial designer was involved. And, indeed, that is the case. These people are Italian after all. In the metal, the products just look sleek and well finished without the overly industrial look of some products that seem to embody mass just for the sake of mass. Just a brief interruption, esteemed viewers. As you may know, I'm Tom Martin, Chief Content Officer of The Absolute Sound. We have a new product. It's on the Substack platform, and we're going to do some interesting things with Substack. First of which is reader questions and answers. Each Monday, readers will submit questions, we'll pick the most interesting ones, and we'll answer the questions on Friday. We'll also have early access to articles and special blogs that don't appear anywhere else. We hope you'll join us. It's only a cost of a cup of coffee per month. Just check on the screen or in the show notes below. Thanks, and now back to the show. It's your call if the Audia Flight design language floats your boat, but I think it is just enough different to be desirable. Combine that careful industrial design with a manufacturing process that is the embodiment of handmade craftsmanship. Many of the circuit boards are soldered by hand, an approach that when combined with careful testing can lead to very tight tracking of specifications. If you take pride in your audio gear, Audia Flight might work for you. But what I think I liked best was the combination of modern engineering science with empirical research into what circuits deliver realistic music. A favorite example of this is the power supply in the Audia Flight Strumento No. 8 monoblock amplifier. This amp is a beast, being rated at 500 watts into 8 ohms and 1,000 watts into 4 ohms and 2,000 watts into 2 ohms. The interesting art plus science thing that designer Massimiliano Marzi explained to us is that they chose to use an EI transformer instead of a toroidal. The required transformer weighs 110 pounds. That's just the transformer. The whole amp weighs 209 pounds. And the EI transformer is more expensive, and the EI transformer requires more attention to noise management. So why use it? Because in listening tests, Audia Flight found that the EI transformer sounded better.
With the Strumento developing about 10 years ago, we worked together with our suppliers, mainly with the transformers supplier, because we just asked him some suggestions, because he also produced for tube amplifiers, transformers, output transformers. So
Have he ever created an output transformer for a solid state amplifier before?
No, for tube, but because this transformer is just for the power supply. But he used also a way for the coins inside of the transformer.
The windings.
Yes, the windings. Yes, to like a tube style. So it's not just a simple transformer. And we also spend time to listen the transformer, and so we send back to our supplier, and they modify, and so back home here, and they listen again. So it was a process for 1 year longer. So we spend a very.
So this is a completely bespoke
Yes.
output transformer.
Yes.
Just for, all right.
There are technical advantages to both designs, which may have had them check the sound quality, but I was impressed that they didn't just assume that they knew or look at a few charts or graphs or numbers and come to their conclusion. I found a similar sense of engineering serving music when we listened to the Alare Remiga 1 speakers. This is the current entry to the Alare line, but it's hardly an entry-level speaker at $50,000 per pair. Both the Remiga 1 and the larger Remiga 2 are transmission line designs, and both are available with either beryllium or diamond tweeters. Designer Massimo Costa took us through the logic of using transmission line loading. Basically, this is a more expensive way to extend bass response because the cabinet construction is more complex. But in the time domain, he says the bass is more coherent, so at this level, it's worth it. Here he talks us through how he's designed the line. The top frequency response graph in red shows a conventional transmission line design, and the bottom graph shows the Alare approach. You can see how the bass is more extended and smoother. Note that another problem with transmission line designs is that they're hard to model mathematically. Costa has built a complete computational model of the driver and the line and the materials, which led him to several discoveries about how to make the whole system work better. The line, for example, has interior venting. He also employs minimal absorbent material so as not to throw away the line output by creating an almost sealed box. He showed us predictive models of prototype speakers and indicated how much prototyping can go on in the computer, emphasizing that fairly early on in the design process, you just have to build actual speakers and check your math. Costa is also using diamond tweeters in his top current designs and feels that a new generation of drivers may soon open up the benefits of diamond drivers to a larger range of buyers. We hope that's the case. The sound of the complete Audia Flight and Alare system we heard showed real promise, despite our epic consumption of food and wine and food and wine and food and wine in the previous evenings. While listening conditions in a factory are never ideal, what we heard was clean, balanced, and dynamic with a subtle sweetness. Engineering in the service of art. We were pleased to find it in some surprising places on this trip. Speaking of which, can I have my tiramisu now? I hope you've enjoyed this brief visit to Audia Flight and Alare. For coverage of more great audio gear and music, check in the description for a free subscription to our weekly newsletters. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks.